why mental health, emotional well-being is at stake. Because despite of having all the materialistic things, सब कुछ है लोगों के पास आज. जो एक चीज़ नहीं है वो मन की शांति. क्यों? क्योंकि मन है ही नहीं यहाँ पे. It's not here.
Modern day challenges in relationships.
Yeah.
We face quite a lot of challenges lately in today's time to have a good, healthy relationship.
Clarity. I think clarity is missing. Clarity in the sense, why do I want to get into a relationship? सबसे पहले तो ये है ना, this is the basis of it.
I want to put this well. How can one know that I'm ready for a relationship? Number one. Or else how can one know, how can one have a clarity that, this is what I'm looking for and this is what I'm ready to provide on the table.
So you don't need a partner to become whole. You need a partner to just amplify what you're doing.
What would your advice be to any person who is watching this podcast?
Self-awareness is the key to all the locks of your life.
Namaste guys, I hope you all are doing well. I wouldn't take a lot of your time with this particular introduction, but today's podcast is all about mindfulness. Alok sir has shared some really insightful knowledge on mindfulness and I hope you guys find this podcast meaningful. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel for us to bring this kind of beautiful episodes to you on a consistent basis. But for now, I would let you all slip into this beautiful episode featuring Alok sir on Escape the Mold with Jash. Thank you. I want to know, how does breathing and having some techniques like breathing techniques, how does that work and how does that calm a person down? Because mindfulness is all about breathing, the way you breathe, the techniques that you follow. Can you share the importance of breathing?
Yeah. See, the thing is, Jash, breath is one of the gifts, I would say, that we have got. Why do I say that it's a gift? Because we always breathe in the present, okay? And the very nature of the mind is that it's very restless. So I'm sure you must have caught yourself multiple times thinking about something that happened wrong in the past, or maybe just reminiscing about some memory from the past. Or maybe if it's not the past, then it's the future. It's the anxiety, the worry, what if this happens, what if that happens? But breath is a gift because every time you just channelize your focus and bring your awareness to your breath, instantly you withdraw yourself from the past and the future and you anchor yourself in the present, right? And this is one of the reasons, in all the religion, any belief, whatever you think about, breath is given the importance. In meditation, one of the simplest way of meditation is to focus on the breath. Buddha said that one of the best types of meditation is you just focus on your breath and just count every breath that is coming in and going out. एक भजन भी है कि श्वासा दी माला नु सिमरा में तेरा नाम, that you are using the breath as your mala to just connect with the divine. So this is one of the simplest way of understanding that why breath is important, because that anchors you in the present. But if you look at it from the biological perspective, if you look at it from the scientific perspective, your breath and the frequency of your thoughts, they are highly integrated. So when you start breathing slow, deep and long, you start having your thoughts, they slow down. If I had to give you an example, whenever you are irritated, whenever you are frustrated, angry, you have multiple thoughts, yes or no? In a stressful situation, you are stuck in this state of overthinking, intrusive thinking, negative thoughts. And there are multiple thoughts. Okay. But when you are relaxed, you are chilling with your friends, maybe on a weekend when you are sitting and watching a movie, your breath is slow, deep, and you're relaxed, right? So our breath has a deep connection with what's going in our mind. And at the same time, when you're breathing slow, deep, and long, there are different hormones that are produced in your body. So the importance of the breath is like that switch. When you just switch it on and when you become conscious about it, you can instantly take charge of your mind and your body. That's the power of the breath. And I'd also like to come to the mindfulness thing that you spoke about. When I talk about mindfulness, breath is just one of the anchors to practice mindfulness. Yeah. So mindfulness is not breathing, breathing is not mindfulness, but breath is one of the anchors that you use to bring yourself back in the moment. Because see, ultimately, just mindfulness kya hai? What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is nothing but it's the state of awareness. That whatever you do in your life, the time you get up in the morning till the time you go to sleep, whatever you do that with complete conscious awareness. Like for example, right now when I'm talking to you, and half of my mind is thinking about when are we going to, end this, and because I have another meeting which is lined up. I need, today it's raining crazy, and then there'll be traffic. I'll not be able to give my best in this conversation, yes or no? When I'm eating food, and if Netflix चालू है, मैं वो देख रहा हूँ, या कोई मेरे बाजू में बैठा है and I'm talking to that person, I'll not be able to enjoy the food, right? So mindfulness is the process of giving your 200% in anything and everything that you do, so that you enhance the quality of your experience. Because there's this Harvard study, Jash, I'd like to connect this with it. Harvard study said that for more than 60% of the times, we are in the past and the future. और एक study था बहुत interesting. The name of the study is that a wandering mind is an unhappy mind. A wandering mind is an unhappy mind. Now, you just club both these studies. For more than 60% of the times, you are in the past and the future. And a wandering mind is an unhappy mind, which means that for 60% of the times, you are unhappy. You get it? So, this is one of the reasons why people are, struggling today. Why mental health, emotional well-being is at stake. Because despite of having all the materialistic things, सब कुछ है लोगों के पास आज. जो एक चीज़ नहीं है वो मन की शांति. क्यों? क्योंकि मन है ही नहीं यहाँ पे. It's not here. We are always thinking about some or the other nonsense that is going on in our life, right? And one switch that we have is the breath. So you just focus on your breath and you are here.
So have you heard about Vipassana?
Yeah.
So once, like after coming back from Canada, and I wanted to grow this podcast with just one intention, that I want to learn. I want to explore this side of myself too, and then to share it with people. So I did Vipassana. All right. I wasn't expecting I'll be able to complete the 10-day course. All right. So just for audience, Vipassana is basically for 10 days. You give your phone, laptop, everything.
Which is the hardest part.
Exactly. The idea of giving away was really, really hard, for me. But some amazing benefits I've received after that. So number one, you have to give your phone, laptop, everything that you have. Number two, you cannot speak for 10 days. You do not have to speak anything for 10 days until and unless you have a real question about the technique that they are teaching you, and you can only speak to Guru, that is the teacher.
Yeah.
All right. Number three, you have sattvic food.
Yes.
Sattvic food translation would be simple diet. And number four was you cannot use any substance. If you are addicted to alcohol or cigarettes or whatsoever, you're not supposed to do anything for 10 days. All right. So first, when one of my friend bought this idea to me that, Jash, I think we should do this, I was really scared that how is this even possible? How can I do this? Like the idea of giving away my phone and my laptop.
It's scary.
It's scary, yeah. Because I prefer working every day. Like,
Yes.
first thing in the morning, what I do is I check my email कि आज का क्या क्या line up हुआ है and क्या क्या काम करना है, right? But then the actual process started. First 3 days were terrible for me, sir.
Yeah.
Terrible. On third day, I cried for straight 4 to 5 hours because you cannot speak anything, and all day what you have to do is just sit, close your eyes, and focus on the breathing. They have this technique that they ask you to do, that focus only on this part of your body, focus on this part of your body. Do nothing, just focus here. All right. First 3 days were terrible.
Yeah.
After third day, like on third day, I cried like anything because I realized that I opened up a lot of my past baggage.
Yeah.
I realized I had a lot of my past baggage. I realized that I still am dwelling a lot on my past. So third day I cried a lot. After third day, like from 4th till 10th day, it was a bliss for me.
Yeah.
4th day, say, the mentality I had was, I do not have phone, I do not have laptop, I'm secluded, I'm just with myself, and the real meaning of solitude
Yeah.
was something I was experiencing in and out. All right. One personal experience I have gained from Vipassana was the reason of my sadness, my anxiety, my depression, every negative emotion I was dealing with was because of two things. One, I was dwelling quite a lot on my past, and second, I was worrying a lot about my future. Uh, I've been consuming your content since a good amount of time now, and you talk about similar things, very similar things, as you just mentioned that one switch which can bring you to the present. My question to you is, even after doing Vipassana, I do practice the meditation technique that they have taught. I do that even in today's times, but not on a consistent basis because of the schedule that I have. But even today, at times, I find it very hard to bring myself in the present. Like, there are still times where I'll start holding on to things which happened in the past.
Yeah.
And there are also times where I'll start over worrying about the future, that what's gonna happen, with my career, or what's gonna happen with my family life, what's gonna happen with my relationship that's going on, or my friends, family, girlfriend, XYZ, whatsoever. I have unrealistic thoughts coming in, and I'll start worrying. How can I deal with that? How can people who experience the same thing deal with that?
See, the thing is, thank you for sharing that. In fact, what you just mentioned, what you just explored about your experience during Vipassana, it's wonderful, because it's like, if I have to give you an analogy, just think of a glass of water, and it's a muddy glass of water. Okay, so all of us, we have this habit of taking a spoon, and we keep on just mixing that glass of water, right? So what happens is, the water is always brown in color because we are constantly mixing it. So the dust particles and the mud is always there. So whenever you go into any such practices, whether it is Vipassana, whether you do mindfulness, whether any other meditative practices, you let the glass rest untouched. So what happens is, the mud automatically starts settling at the bottom. And after a few minutes, you see that now the water becomes clear. The glass represents our mind. So our habit is to keep on muddling around with what has happened in the past, what's going to happen in the future, the worry, the anxiety, the fear, the uncertainty, the ambiguity. And because of that, we never allow the water to get clear. So when you force yourself, because ultimately, see, the mind doesn't want to get into this kind of experience. You somewhere have to force yourself. And even in Vipassana, you had, the first day you had to force. You had to force yourself to do it. But then you see that, oh wow, it's settling. And that is called as healing. You are allowing the healing to happen. Right? See, the thing is, when it comes to the mind, Jash, the mind is just like the body. Okay, So the way we have physical muscles, we have mental muscles, right? So just subscribing to a gym membership will not help you to have a stronger body. Going for 1 week will not help you to have a stronger body. It has to become a routine. It has to become a part of your daily activity. Just say the way you brush your teeth, right? You cannot say that I only brush on weekends, but I don't want to have cavity. Because otherwise I don't have time. Monday to Friday I'm so busy. Saturday and Sunday I can brush. In fact, I'll brush twice. But can you guarantee that I'll not have cavity? No, brushing has to be a part of your routine every single day. And that's the reason your teeth are healthy. So if dental health is important, mental health is equally important. Get it? So when we talk about, when you just spoke about Vipassana, similarly, if you have certain practices and you do it on regular basis, then your ability, your capability and your capacity to bounce back improves. See, basically, let's understand, the goal should not be that I never fall. The goal should be that I quickly get up. You get it? Because if you have wrong expectations from yourself, you will be highly disappointed. You get it? So if I have this expectation from myself that, I've been practicing this, I've been doing this, मैंने तो ये program किया, मैंने तो ये retreat करी है, and then I practiced also for some time, now I should not get negative thoughts. No, that's a wrong expectation. Because there's something called as negative bias. This is a psychological concept, negative bias. So negative bias is wherein the mind has a habit to focus more on the negatives compared to the positives. For example, let's say if you get 9 compliments, if you get 1 criticism, you will keep on focusing on that 1 criticism. यार इसने ऐसे क्यों बोल दिया, ऐसे क्यों किया, ऐसा क्यों बोला, अरे focus on 9 compliments. No. I want to focus on this. So this is negative bias. Okay. We will get negative thoughts. You will get intrusive thoughts. But the practice, what is the practice here? The practice is, number 1, catch yourself drowning in that swamp. Number 2, orient your focus, because if you focus on the good, you feel good. When you focus on the bad, you feel bad. So the focus defines how you feel. Our focus defines our feelings. Okay. So number 1, catch yourself drowning in it. Number 2, orient your focus, and that will help you to instantly come out of it. Okay. So for example, let's say everything is going good. Okay. Everything is fine with me right now. And all of a sudden, I see myself getting hijacked by a negative thought. Okay. If I'm not aware of it, I'll keep on feeling bad, I'll keep on feeling sad, I'll keep on feeling disgusted, I'll keep on feeling restless, और पूरा दिन चला जाएगा in that state. But let's say if I realize that something is not right, all of a sudden I'm feeling restless. I stop everything, I just sit, take a notepad and a pen, and I start writing down what is bothering me. Okay, this is bothering me, this is bothering me, this is bothering me. Okay, what can I do about it? What is in my control? What is not in my control? Abhi मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ? Okay, I can do this, I can do this. Apart from this, can I do anything? No, nothing. So at least if I can do these 2 things, let me do it. So the time you realize what is in your control and the time you start taking action towards it, you start feeling certainty. Yes.
Sir, do one person has to practice being conscious while they have started feeling negative thoughts inside them? Like, do one person have to be conscious about it? Like, at times when I say that, even today I deal with those things, one thing I have noticed is it triggers out of nowhere.
Yeah.
All right. And the realization comes out after a good amount of time.
Yes.
वो झट से realization नहीं आता है.
नहीं आता है.
It takes good amount of time, like 30, 50, 60 minutes of dwelling, and then like, okay, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Where did this start?
So this is where, just this is what is called as becoming aware of the slipping point. Okay. मतलब ये तो वो वाली बात होगी ना कि you are walking and you trip over something. So you realize that you are tripping. Okay. And you fall also, right? But you don't just lie on the ground for half an hour and then you realize, oh, I fell. Abhi to mujhe utna chahiye.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You trip And that's where you realize, oh God, oh shit, you have that oh shit moment as you're tripping, right? You fall and you're like, oh, and then you instantly get up. See, the same is the case with mental tripping also. The time you realize that something is wrong, you get up. Okay, so this requires practice, and you can use this technique. I call it as playing a game with yourself, and that game is called as caught you. Okay, so whenever you find yourself getting disaligned or getting off track, just tell yourself caught you. Okay, there's something else also you can do is that having a third person perspective and you telling yourself that Jash is becoming uncomfortable right now. Jash is feeling a lot of fear and anger right now. Jash is feeling this, Jash is feeling that. So this makes you more aware of it. As if you have a coach with you, or as if you have a best friend with you who is talking to you in third person, that he is feeling. So just think about it. If you have a best friend, and if someone comes and tells you that, hey, listen, Abhishek is feeling this right now. So all of a sudden, आपका ध्यान जाएगा, oh, he's feeling this, and let me do something about it. Got it? So you can either play this game caught you with yourself, but this will require practice. See, everything requires practice.
Correct.
Because when we don't practice, then by default the autopilot takes over. If I have to connect this with an analogy, the planes, when the pilots are flying the planes, they are not always in control of the plane. They put it on autopilot. Lekin they cannot put it on autopilot and go to sleep. Because of the turbulences up there, and you have this clouds and the wind and the weather, there is a little bit of diversion that happens. So that's where the pilot has to put it back on track. Thoda sa manual transition required hota hai. The same is the case with us. We all are like aeroplanes. We are just flying on autopilot. And we also have turbulences. Kisi ne kuch bol diya, that is a turbulence. Aaj mood kharab ho gaya, that's a turbulence. I'm not feeling good today, that's a turbulence. I was expecting something to happen in a certain way, that becomes a turbulence. So we go off track. But every time you go off track and you tell yourself, caught you, let me put in manual transition, let me bring myself back. That is the practice that is required.
Okay, beautiful. So one thing I want to bring up is the challenges that today's generation is facing. We see quite a lot of anxiety going into teenagers, depression. Teenagers are depressed. Many of them I encounter. I see they are not doing so well mentally. One major source of the teenagers not being in a healthy mental state is social media. All right. People are getting influenced in negative ways.
Yeah.
All right. So I experienced that too. And I'll tell you one story. All right. So I used to follow this one guy when I was in Canada. I used to follow this guy. Guy used to bring out very fancy my morning routine.
Yeah.
All right. I wake up at 5 in the morning. I take a ice bath. I make a coffee. I go to the gym. Look at my physique.
Yeah.
I come back home. I start working at 8 or 9 in the morning. That's how productivity happens.
Yeah.
Now he sold me the idea of what productivity is.
वो benchmark set कर दिया.
Exactly. मैंने वो idea खरीद ली. All right. Now Jash has decided that I'll do the same. I'll wake up at 5 in the morning. I'll take a ice bath. I'll do everything that this guy is doing because according to him, this is the real definition
This is the only way to reach destination A.
Exactly. And when I'm not able to achieve that, I'll start feeling low about myself. That I'm not able to do it. There's something wrong in me.
Yeah.
Later on, I realized कि यहाँ से मैं productivity नहीं खरीद रहा हूँ. मैं यहाँ से creativity नहीं खरीद रहा हूँ. मैं यहाँ से I'm not buying the ladder towards success. All what I'm buying is impatience. self-doubt, impatience. Um, yeah. So social media is one of the greatest enemy, I think, which is putting people down, which is putting teenagers in that bad state of mind. What would your message be to the teenagers who are watching this podcast?
See, first of all, when you started this conversation, you said that a lot of teenagers are depressed. So, first of all, I would say that uh, stop using, to everyone who's going to listen and who will listen in the future, stop using these jargons without understanding them. Okay, because in my coaching space, when I talk to people, there are a lot of people, uh, these mental health terms, they have become like a badge of honor.
Yeah,
You see a lot of people, wearing this badge of honor. I'm depressed, I'm stressed. मतलब आज तो कॉर्पोरेट में भी ऐसा हो गया है, if you are stressed, that means you are working hard. So if you are stressed, that means, you are valued. And the person who is not stressed, running around like a jolly good fellow, वो ऐसा लगता है ये तो कुछ काम ही नहीं करता होगा. So I would say that don't use these words if you don't understand the meaning of what depression means. I'll give you an example. Like, I was having a conversation with one of my mentee and she started talking about ADHD. Okay. Alok, I think, I've started developing ADHD symptoms especially after COVID and working from home. And I was like, acha. And then I literally told her 10 symptoms of ADHD. अच्छा इसमें से मुझे बताओ क्या क्या होता है आपको. She's like, नहीं इसमें से तो कुछ नहीं. Then how are you saying that you have ADHD? Okay, so people, they don't know what depression is. People, they don't know what anxiety is. People, they don't know what panic is, what ADHD, what OCD is. They just randomly start labeling themselves. See, this is very dangerous, Jash. I'll tell you why. When you unknowingly label yourself with a particular term, that becomes your identity.
Exactly.
You get it? And then anything and everything that you do, you relate that to that particular term, saying that मेरे साथ ये हो रहा है क्योंकि मुझे तो ये है ना. फिर कोई आपको बोलेगा कि यार यू आर नॉट, भाई क्या हुआ, आप भूल गए, आज मजा क्या हो, तबीयत ठीक, मुझे तो डिप्रेशन है ना. You get it? So everything, then you will start labeling with that. And that's a false premise. You don't have that. Okay. So first of all, I would say that if you are experiencing something, talk to an expert. I would not even say that Google it, because that is even more dangerous. Because Google algorithm is designed in such a way that it will serve you data.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And today the websites and stuff, they are designed from the optimization perspective. They are stuffing keywords just to rank. So if you search for depression, if wrong information is served to you, that will knock you off. Because then you are like, अच्छा हाँ ये तो depression, मुझे तो यही हो रहा है. Yes, depression है. ठीक है? No, go to an expert, talk to an expert. Okay. Now, coming back to the second half of the topic that you brought in, about social media. See, the thing is, Jash, I would say that we all are blessed. Today's generation, if you look at the earlier generation, if you look at our parents, the grandparents, their life was a struggle. Information was not available easily. Information was only available with few of them, right? Today, आज बच्चे के हाथ में फ़ोन है, उनके पास इंटरनेट है, उनके पास एक्सेस है. Data is no longer hidden asset. It is with everyone. Right? Social media is a boon. I would say that it's one of the biggest blessings that we have. In fact, Jash, I would say that, social media is like a knife. If you know how to use it, you'll be able to create amazing fruit art and vegetable art out of it. If you don't know how to use the knife, you will end up hurting yourself or someone else.
Yeah.
The same is the case with social media. If you know what to consume, when to consume, how to consume, for how long to consume, you'll be able to make the most out of it. But if you randomly get stuck in doom scrolling, you're gone. So my message to the youngsters especially would be, number one, be mindful of whom you are following on social media.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, because what happens is as soon, let's take an example of Instagram. When you open up your Instagram app, सबसे पहले आपके सामने feed आता है. And your feed is nothing but it's an extension of your followers. So whosoever you are following, no, unke posts, unki activity you see on the feed, right? And if you are following wrong people, then you see their extension, you see their posts, you get depressed. You start comparing your life with their life, right? So influencers who are showcasing, maybe a facade on social media. I drive this car. 4 days out of a week, I'm traveling in this country. I'm in this country. मैं ये करता हूँ. मेरी तो ये गर्लफ्रेंड है. मैं तो ये गाड़ी चलाता हूँ. मैं ये होटल में जाता हूँ. Etc. Now, just think about it. A youngster, what is the benchmark that person is setting unknowingly for himself or herself? That if you have this kind of life, you are successful. And if you don't have this, then you are a failure.
Yeah.
Right? So you are setting the wrong benchmarks, which are propagated by wrong kind of people. And even if you are on the right track, because of the wrong benchmarks, you will start doubting yourself and your life. You know, I would like to give you an analogy here. And I think people will be able to connect with this very well. You know, we all have a showcase in our house, right? Showcase is something like this. उसमें अच्छी lights लगी रहती है. And we have some amazing artifacts that we keep in the showcase. और हम हमारे हाउस हेल्प को भी बोलते हैं कि रोज़ साफ करना है, वहाँ पे धूल मिट्टी नहीं होनी चाहिए. Because whosoever comes in our house, we want to show them the showcase.
Yeah.
Right? देखो, ये मेरा showcase है. And we all have, a store room also in our house.
Yeah.
है ना? एक store room होता है कोई कोने में घर के. और वो store room में सारा कचरा हम जमा करते हैं. है ना? कभी सफाई भी नहीं होती है. वो दिवाली में एक दिन सफाई होती है स्टोर रूम की. एंड वी डोंट वांट एनी ऑफ आवर गेस्ट्स टू गो टू आवर स्टोर रूम. यस और नो? राइट?
True.
Social media is just like the showcase. Everyone is trying to show the showcase.
The best side of their life.
Yes. No one wants to show their storeroom. Okay. Now, the problem with the youngsters is, what happens is, they unknowingly start comparing their storeroom with someone else's showcase. And that is the cause of misery. Because they see that, यार मेरी लाइफ तो कैसी लाइफ चल रही है मेरी, बकवास. और उसकी देखो, आपने उसका स्टोर रूम देखा है, आप डर जाओगे. कभी जाके उसका स्टोर रूम देखो. Right? So that's a wrong comparison. If you want to compare, you compare your storeroom with someone else's storeroom. You compare your showcase with someone else's showcase. That's the right comparison. Right?
Yeah. So I want to talk about modern day challenges in relationships. Guys and guys of my age, boys who are younger than me, girls who are younger than me, and girls of my age. We face quite a lot of challenges lately in today's time to have a good, healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Which we see our parents in. Like today, when I see my parents, they are in a good, healthy relationship. And back in their days, relationship was not so challenging. Lately, relationship has become very, very, very challenging. People are negatively seeking their own identity and making that one of the major reasons to not experience the divine of falling in love.
Yeah.
All right. Again, one major reason for this is social media. In my experience, I'll tell you why. All right. Guys in today's times have become so distracted that for them, purpose is far gone. Like I see my father today, when I ask him that how was your life when you were 25 or 26, my dad had a purpose that, I'm married, all right, or I'll be married. In certain people's case, they were not married. So I'll be married soon. I want to create a house. I want to have a good business. I want to give my family a very good lifestyle. Basically, they were purpose-driven men. today's times, very few guys have the same ideology that I want to become a purpose-driven man. So when you have a guy's perspective here, guys do not have a purpose in their life. Guys are not addicted to have a purpose and to chase it, like to do whatever it takes. I'm going to chase this particular side of life. In regards to that, when it comes to girls are addicted to attention due to social media. Any girl who'll post a picture, they'll have 100, 200 comments down there of guys who do not have purpose in their life.
Yeah.
And there would be more than 100 to 200 DMs. So the girl is in that mentality that, I have so much of attention already here that I'll take a step back. When I see a guy really putting in the effort, all right, what do you think about it? What are your thoughts about this? And why am I asking this particular question to you is I want to have a good chat with you about this and to understand the solutions that we can come out with this podcast about the challenges that guys and girls are facing.
See, the thing is, first of all, when we look at, there are multiple angles to this. It's like it's not a black and white solution here, or it's not a black and white conversation, but it's like there are a lot of things that are contributing to the modern day relationships. Whether it is romantic relationship, whether we talk about a marriage or your courtship or whatever it is, right? First of all, clarity. I think clarity is missing. Clarity in the sense, why do I want to get into a relationship? सबसे पहले तो ये है ना, this is the basis of it. Like at this age and stage of my life, am I ready for a relationship? सबसे पहले तो शुरुआत वहाँ से होती है. Now, because I have a friend circle and 3 of my buddies, they have a girlfriend and I don't have, so I feel left out. There is a sense of FOMO, right? Because when we go for trips, it's like two single.
So true, yeah.
So then I feel left out and then I start doubting myself, maybe कुछ कमी है क्या? नहीं. Now just get a girlfriend, just get a partner, get someone. Okay. So is this the right start point? No, it's not a right start point. आपकी शुरुआत ही comparison से हुई. Right? So I would say clarity. Like, why am I ready? Number 1, am I ready? Number 2 is that, we are very good at demanding things. We are such hypocrites, I'll tell you. We are very good at demanding things. That, in a partner, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Lambi list hai. Now, the question is, what are you ready to give in? That's the real question. What value are you bringing on the table? In terms of your understanding, your emotional intelligence, in terms of, the money, the comfort. What are you ready to bring in? Your values for that matter. Are you ready to understand? Are you ready to comfort? Are you ready to accept? Etc. 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 What corners are you ready to cut? Etc. etc. नहीं, मुझे तो ये चाहिए. अच्छा, देना क्या है? वो नहीं सोचा. ठीक है? So that is the second thing. That यहाँ पे clarity नहीं है कि what am I ready to give in. Number 3, what happens is, when we look at the older generation, I would like to compare this with a kirana store and a mall. आप सोचो, ठीक है? When a person goes to a kirana store, the person is focused. घर से निकलते ही पता है कि किराना स्टोर है ना, यहाँ से मुझे 2 किलो शक्कर लेनी है, थोड़ी सी चाय पत्ती लेनी है, बिस्किट का पैकेट लेना है, ये लेना है, फिर मैं आ जाऊंगा घर पे. When you go to a mall, what happens, Jash? You are distracted.
Yeah, you have options.
You are distracted.
Yeah.
Options तो दुनिया भर के हैं. You lose your focus.
Completely. Yeah.
आप गए थे एक चीज लेने को, आप 10 चीज लेके आओगे और वो एक चीज नहीं लेके आओगे जिसके लिए गए थे.
So true, yeah.
है ना? This is what is happening in relationships. So earlier, when we look at the older generation, the world was not that wide. उतने ऑप्शंस थे ही नहीं. When I say options, I'm not just talking about a partner wala option. I'm talking about many other things like the comparative options, the understanding, जिस हिसाब का culture होता था, and also the kind of respect we used to have for our parents, you know, and एक वैल्यू सिस्टम फॉलो होती थी घर में, बड़ों का मान सम्मान होता था. And also at the same time, you know, there was this, the family system was completed, a joint family system hota tha. So we used to look at our elders.
Yeah.
You look at the older generation, they used to respect, they used to look, एक बार ये बोल दिया तो फिर हम यही करेंगे, है ना? Overall, the transition that has happened. Now, I'm not saying that transition is bad. The transition has to have. The only constant is change. Evolution is the nature of existence. It is going to happen, right? So, इसको हम रोक नहीं सकते. I'm not saying that let's go back to the black and white days. No, I'm not saying that. The problem is not transition. The problem is your integrity. The problem is your value system, right? The same is the case with the mobile phone. कि हम ये नहीं बोलेंगे मोबाइल फोन क्यों इन्वेंट हुआ. दैट इज वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट ब्लेसिंग. बट डू यू हैव कंट्रोल ओवर योर ओन सेंसेस? दैट इज द क्वेश्चन. Okay, so the same is the case with relationship. That today, when you are meeting a person, are you aware what you are looking for? सबसे पहले ये है, you know, today when a lot of youngsters, when they say that I want to get married, there are a lot of people, when I do this one-on-one sessions also, there are a lot of youngsters who say that I'm in my 30s, I'm in my mid 30s and time जा रहा है, I want to get married, etc. etc. बहुत pressure है. So my question to them is, do you have clarity that what are you looking for? Yeah, you just have gender clarity. कि मुझे लड़का चाहिए, मुझे लड़की नहीं. That is very superficial. You need to go way deep into it. Yeah. जैसे आप होटल में जाते हो, you don't say the waiter जो ready है वो लाओ. आप 10 मिनट तो मेन्यू देखने में लगाते हो कि ये खाऊं, ये खाऊं, ये खाऊं, क्या मंगवाऊं, है ना? सो दैट इमेंस अमाउंट ऑफ क्लैरिटी इन टर्म्स ऑफ व्हाट यू वांट इन योर पार्टनर इज रिक्वायर्ड, एंड इन ऑल डायमेंशंस ऑफ लाइफ, like in terms of personality, in terms of mindset, in terms of value system, in terms of family, in terms of bonding, in terms of understanding, acceptance, money, stability. ये सारी कुछ चीज़ आपको है क्या क्लैरिटी? क्योंकि until and unless if you don't have clarity, that's like GPS. Until and unless you don't have clarity and you keep on meeting multiple people, how will you get to know यही है?
True.
पता ही नहीं चलेगा ना. Because even if the right person is in front of you, you will miss it out because you don't have clarity.
Exactly.
So have immense clarity. Okay. And at the same time, work on what you are ready to give into a relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. Acceptance is the key. And just, one more thing that I realized, which is one of the biggest problem, is impatience. That we are impatient.
Mm-hmm.
If someone makes a mistake, we are not ready to give time. That is a problem. And, if something is wrong in me, I'm not able to see that. But if something is wrong with someone else, I'm able to zoom into it.
Yeah.
You know? So the finger is always like this. It is never like this. So in a relationship also, ये गलत है, उसने ये किया, उसने वैसा किया, now I cannot stay with this person. अच्छा, what did you do? Have you ever asked that question to yourself? Are you Mr. Right 100%?
Never.
Never. So aren't we hypocrites? We are. So I think it's a very holistic perspective on relationship is required, along with patience. And my request to all the youngsters especially, thank you for bringing in this topic. My request to all the youngsters is, please have the right idols in your life. आपने किसको आइडल बना के रखा है? I'll not take names, but आपने किसको आइडल बना के रखा है? और देखो, हमारी एक ह्यूमन साइकोलॉजी होती है जिसको हम कहते हैं ना फैन फॉलोइंग, राइट? सो एक ह्यूमन साइकोलॉजी होती है. इफ यू लाइक समवन, you start mirroring that person.
Yeah.
Yes or no? So for example, if you like a cricketer or a sports person, you start mirroring. If you like like any other celebrity, like maybe an actor or actress, you start mirroring that person. And not only from the looks perspective और वो क्या पहन रहा है वो क्या पहन रही है, उसकी आदतें और हरकतें भी.
Correct.
The nature, the mindset. You start bringing in that mindset. And then relationships. अच्छा इसकी तो इतनी गर्लफ्रेंड रही है, so it's okay, that's cool, because he looks cool.
Yeah.
So if I do this, even I will look cool. Okay. So whom are you considering your idol? So that's the reason I said, Jash, there are multiple angles to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one rookie question, I would say, how can a guy or a girl, okay, I want to put this well. How can one know that I'm ready for a relationship? Number one, or else how can one know, how can one have a clarity that, this is what I'm looking for and this is what I'm ready to provide on the table?
Yeah. That's a good question. How do I get to know that I'm ready? See, you are never ready if you are looking to have someone to complete you. You are not ready. Okay? Because there's a very false narrative that is set that 1 + 1 is 2. Like I'm empty right now. I want someone to make me complete, to complete me. That's stupidity. You are never incomplete. So if you are incomplete, then make yourself complete first.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't need a partner to become whole. You need a partner to just amplify what you're doing.
Correct.
You get it? So there has to be someone who is whole, and then there has to be someone who is whole. When these two people, they come together, that is when magic happens. You get it? So when this person is alone, or not, or empty, I would say, if this person is empty, and if that person looks out for someone else to complete him or fill him or her, there'll be a lot of expectation.
Yeah.
Ki I got into this relationship because this is what I was expecting from you. और फिर वो जब भी fulfill नहीं होता है ना, फिर वहाँ पे सारी problems शुरू होती है.
The chaos starts.
The chaos starts. So, today, all this has become a trend. You get those lockets also, half heart and half heart, we make it a complete. No, why? What stupidity, nonsense is going on? You need to have your heart, and that person needs to have the complete heart. And then you bring together, that becomes synergy. When we look at power couples also today, in all areas of life, you see power. In business, you see power couples. In Bollywood, Hollywood, you see power couples. In all areas, you see power couples, right? So what is a power couple? A power couple is when this person is complete, this person is complete. When they come together, they just create magic.
Yeah.
Right? So I think, number one, the first thing that you need to ask yourself in order to understand whether you're ready for a relationship or not is, are you in the best shape of your life? That is the first thing that you ask yourself. Are you in the best shape of your life right now? Financially, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, from all aspects of your life. Are you in the best shape of your life? If yes, only then you are ready for a relationship. Because relationship is a responsibility.
Yeah.
It's not a support ladder that you are looking for.
Yeah.
You get it? If you're looking for a support ladder, then you will have a lot of expectation.
Correct.
Right? But when you are complete, then you are ready to give your best.
So I want to talk about the stress that people are dealing with their professional lives. All right. So I am handling a few of my family businesses, and alongside I'm doing podcasting and handling my production house. At times it does get stressful. At times I feel to escape from this particular zone, that I do not want to work for some time. I just want to leave everything and just do something else for a change.
Yeah.
I think somewhere it is not a healthy thing for a person to experience it. I think a person can use mindfulness as one of the tools in a way where they are having an experience where they are enjoying the work, they are enjoying the hustle, and they are not having unwanted stress on their plate. How can I achieve that? How can a person achieve that?
Got it. See, the thing is, Jash, when we talk about stress, stress is a part and parcel of life. And what do we mean by stress? Stress is a state of mind wherein a little bit of more exertion is needed or required in order to move that particular project, in order to move what you're trying to achieve, right? So, if with less effort or no effort you are able to move, then there is no stress.
Okay.
But if a little bit more effort is required, then you feel that, oh, now it's getting a little bit stressful, right? So there are multiple reasons why we experience stress. The first reason can be lack of clarity. If you're trying to do something and you don't have clarity, कि मैं ये कैसे करूँ, क्या करना है, what should be the first step, what should be the second step, and the timelines are there, but there is no clarity, so now you start experiencing stress and pressure.
Yeah.
Number two is lack of competency and skill set. If I have to get that done, but I don't have the required clarity or the required skill set or competency in order to make that happen, then I feel challenged.
Yeah.
Right? So ultimately, if you see the complexity of the task and the levels of competency that you have, these two elements define whether you are stressed or not. Okay? So if the level of your competency is more than the level of the complexity of the task, then you are in a state of flow. That I am able to do it. Ho raha hai. When the level of complexity is more than level of your competency, that's where you start experiencing resistance and stress. Right? So ideally, when anyone starts experiencing stress at workplace, business, in any area of his or her life, you will have to identify that why am I feeling this? Where is this resistance coming from? Okay? Is it that I am lacking some knowledge here? Am I lacking clarity here? Am I lacking the skill set here? Maybe experience, reference. What am I lacking here? And if you start fulfilling that particular space, then you will start gaining clarity, confidence, and flow.
Okay.
But in order to understand what is the missing element, you need to be mindful of it. Because generally what happens is, see, our brain is designed to move towards pleasure and run away from pain. That's the basic conditioning, right? And that's one of the reasons why whenever you experience stress, you look for instant gratification. And today, the source of instant gratification is our phone.
Yeah.
You know, it's like on autopilot. Every time you experience a resistance, automatically your hand will move towards the phone and you will start scrolling the reels. Why? Because scrolling the reels is less effort, no effort, and instant dopamine hit. So your brain just looks for that experience, that pleasure. Okay? So now what we need to do is, just to break this pattern and fix things, identify when you are moving from the state of flow to the state of stress. Okay? And your body will tell you that. Your body will tell you that you are moving towards stress.
Okay.
Why? Because number one, you will lose your focus. Number two, you will start becoming restless. Number three, you will start looking for some or the other distraction. It can either be phone, it can either be food for that matter, or it can be something else. You will start fiddling around with something that is there on your desk.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you are in the state of flow, आपको कुछ और नहीं दिखता है. अगर कुछ पड़ा भी है, किसी ने कुछ ऑफर भी किया खाने को, वो भी आप बोलोगे मैं बाद में, not now, I'm focused right now. But when you start experiencing that your mind is getting restless, that means there is a resistance. Okay, something is not working right now. So number one is identifying yourself becoming restless. Number two is evaluating why am I becoming restless, what am I lacking here, And number 3 is start filling the gap so that you are able to get into a state of flow.
How can one practice the flow state, as you just mentioned? How can one practice to not lose focus? Is there a technique that you would suggest people? Like, whenever I feel stressed at workplace, just take a break, calm down, close your eyes, just probably focus on your breathing. Probably follow this method of breathing, because as I mentioned in Vipassana, there was a style of breathing. They will ask you to breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 3 seconds, and then breathe out for 4 seconds. Right? Can a person follow a technique like this which will help them to focus more on the flow state and to be in that state of mind where nothing can distract me? For me, my number 1 priority right now is to finish this work, and I'm not getting stressed by doing this. I know the result and I know the direction on how am I moving, how am I going to move towards the result.
See, there are 2 things here. Number 1 is building focus, and number 2 is anchoring your mind. Okay, so we are talking about these 2 elements. When it comes to anchoring your mind, when you are distracted, when you start thinking about something else, and if you want to anchor your mind, then you can just focus on your breath, and that breath will bring you back here. So what you just said, you inhale for these many seconds, you then hold, and so there are many such techniques that will help you to anchor instantly. But when it comes to building focus, it is like sharpening a pencil. You will have to do it, not just once. You will have to keep on doing it multiple times. So when we look at the cognitive science, when we look at the neuroscience, then one of the best methods to build your focus is what is also known as tratak. We know what tratak is, right? So it can be a flame, or it can be a point on the wall, or it can be any spot for that matter, and you just keep on focusing on that. You focus, try not to blink your eyes, you keep on focusing. So this is where you are strengthening the frontal lobe of your brain. So the brain can be dissected into multiple parts. You have this frontal lobe, your temporal lobe, your parietal, occipital, and parietal and occipital, and multiple lobes we have. So the prefrontal cortex we are talking about. The prefrontal cortex is a part of the cognitive area, this part. So prefrontal cortex जो है ना जश, वो बहुत ज़रूरी है in terms of concentration, focusing, evaluation, analysis, calculation, decision making. This prefrontal cortex is very important. So one of the best ways to strengthen the prefrontal cortex is to practice focus. Radical focus, I would say. Like you just focus on that particular thing at regular intervals. You keep on doing it. Every time your mind wanders, every time you get distracted, just bring it back to that point. Okay? So this becomes like a practice, mental training. Okay. The another way of practicing this is you do the same thing with your breath. Like you're just focusing on your breath, and every time the mind wanders, you bring it back, and your mind will wander multiple times.
Yeah.
Right. So don't get distracted or don't get disheartened that why am I getting distracted so much. Every time your mind gets distracted, that's an opportunity. Take it as an opportunity to bring your mind back.
Yeah.
Don't feel disheartened. But that is an opportunity to bring my mind back to the point of focus. And every time I bring my mind back to the focus, I'm strengthening my mental muscle. Okay? This is what I call as mental expansion and contraction. Just like you go to the gym, you have a dumbbell in your hand and you're expanding and contracting. यही करने से तो muscle build होता है ना? Expansion or contraction. The same thing happens with your mental muscle also. So when your mind gets distracted, that is expansion. Yeah. And you bringing it back is contraction. Okay. So I think this should be a part of everyone's routine. That at regular intervals, wherever I get time, when I'm traveling, I'm sitting, I'm resting, kahin pe bhi aap ho, just park 2 minutes and focus on your breath. And every time it wanders, just bring it back. Okay. Now, when it comes to anchoring, there's this technique, and I share this with my mindfulness community members. I call it as 5:8 breathing. which is very powerful, and we have got some amazing results with it, Jash. So ये 5:8 बहुत simple है. क्या करना है आपको? You inhale for the count of 5, and you exhale from your mouth for the count of 8.
Okay.
Okay, so we are talking about longer exhalations. Why longer exhalation? Every time you have longer exhalations, instantly you activate your parasympathetic nervous system. So our nervous system, it has sympathetic and parasympathetic. So sympathetic जो है ना, it is related to fight and flight. So whenever you get angry, irritated, fearful, frustrated, आपकी breathing change हो रही है. Whenever your brain detects any kind of threat, it can be a real threat or virtual threat, and we have that oh shit moment, right? So that is called as the fight and flight activation mode. So that's when adrenaline, noradrenaline, cortisol, ये सारे hormones, neurotransmitter release होते हैं हमारे अंदर, and that's where you become restless, right? So वहाँ पे कौन सा activation हुआ है? Sympathetic activation हुआ है. So it is like रेस देना कार को. आप कार को रेस दे रहे हो, कार भाग रही है. And now you are like, oh God, the car is getting out of my control. I need to gain the control back. So फिर आप क्या करते हो? आप ब्रेक पे पैर देते हो.
Yeah.
Right? So what is our brake? The brake is activating the parasympathetic nervous system. So one of the best ways to activate that is longer exhalations. And that too from your mouth. So when you do like 5 in, 8 out. Do this for 2 minutes and see instant change. आपका heart rate change हो जाएगा. आपका breathing pattern relaxed हो जाएगा. And then, you know, there'll be some kind of subtle calmness that you will feel in your mind. So this will bring your mind back. Not just that, but it will also relax you.
How did mindfulness and being a mindfulness coach happen to you? Like you just mentioned, you quit your job 10 to 11 years back, and ever since you have been a coach.
Yeah.
What made you come out of the corporate world and to pick up on something which wasn't really trending back then, I would say?
Yes. I think, Jash, this is a mystery for me also. But whatever I have decoded, whatever I have understood till now, if I have to portray that in words, I would say that I never thought of becoming a coach, never ever. I'm a coach by accident, Jash. I was not a good student. So just think about it. If you're not a good student, can you ever think of becoming a teacher? No, right? So I was not a good student. I did my commerce because I wanted to run away from science. क्योंकि बहुत पढ़ाई होती है science में. So typical child, right? So I did my commerce. But after commerce, instead of getting into I got into management in terms of my graduation. Instead of doing BCom and stuff, I got into BMS, that is Bachelor's of Management Studies, and I took marketing. So the idea behind that was, because my father is an entrepreneur, so the idea was that okay, later on I will have to be a part of the business, I'll have to take charge of that. So चलो अभी से business की skill sets कुछ सीखते हैं वैसे. So that's the reason I got into Bachelor's of Management Studies, and after that I did my masters. So I got into my MBA, again marketing specialization. So by then I was a good student, मतलब थोड़ा सा better हो गया था. But then the conventional thing was that because back then इतने सारे options नहीं थे in terms of क्या career choose करें. So MBA किया है, marketing में किया है. So the default option was sales.
Yeah.
You give any fancy name that you want to give, business development or marketing management, जो भी है, ultimately it is sales. Okay? ये product है, ये service है, जाओ बेचो, leads लाओ, conversion है, ये monthly targets fulfill करने हैं. That is what it is. Right? It was fun. It was exciting at the start of it, but there was a lot of pressure and heat. You start feeling that heat because your job is at stake. You are answerable. And not all the clients are going to open their their arms wide open and say that आओ मुझे बेचो या ये. Sometimes they'll slam the door on your face.
Yeah, big time.
Right? So I have been through all those experiences, and that used to give a lot of stress. I remember back then, and I'm from Mumbai, so you know that the trains and stuff, right? So that's the heart line of Mumbai. एक दिन train बंद होती है तो अफरा तफरी मच जाती है. So most of our traveling used to happen via trains because back then, you know, Ola, Uber और ये सब ज़्यादा concepts नहीं थे. So we used to travel through trains and lot of waiting that used to happen on the platform and, you know, waiting at the client's waiting area. And all this used to happen and कभी rejection हो गया, कभी हम इतना travel करके गए और client है ही नहीं, पहले बोला था मैं हूँ फिर नहीं है. So lot of ups and downs, but you know, this taught lot of things. But at the same time, that also gave lot of stress because rejection gives you stress. You don't like it. But at that point of time, Jash, my practices really helped me. So my mindfulness, my meditation practices really helped me. So this is something that became a part of my routine right from my childhood because that was a part of the family.
Yeah.
You know, a child picks up from the family. A child picks up from the environment, right? So when you see your parents, when you see other people in your family doing certain practices, you automatically start mirroring it, even if you don't know why this is to be done. But later on, long story short, when I was experiencing stress and anxiety during my career, that's where I realized just that these practices, they work as your anchor.
Yeah.
It is like, you know, just think about a flag. How the flag keeps on flapping in a windy day. But it doesn't fly away. Why? Because it is attached to a pole.
Correct.
So the same thing happens with our mind. That we all have windy days. But if you don't have a pole, by the pole what I mean is your anchors. If you don't have a practice, if you don't have an anchor, then your mind will fly away just like a flag. Get it? So when these things they started helping me, तभी मैंने, you know, जो मेरे colleagues थे वो भी stressful थे तभी. I used to tell them, I used to just, you know, casually tell them, यार ये करके देखना कर, थोड़ा सा शांति feel होगी, मज़ा आएगा, अच्छा लगेगा. And I realized that they are experiencing that help out of it. So that's where I realized that if ये 2-3 लोगों को फ़ायदा हो रहा है, why can't we take this to masses, larger people? But again there was this fear कि होगा कि नहीं, मैं कर पाऊँगी कि, because you know, self-doubt and all that happens. And labeling myself as an introvert, वो fear 10 times और हो जाता है, right? So I remember there was this first program that I did, and that was just, it was a free program, and someone who knew me, they said that अरे आप ये करते हो तो हमारे 2-3 लोगों को भी करा के देखो. So that's how it started, and I realized that I'm enjoying doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm enjoying teaching something to someone. So this is how it happens, right, Jash? That there are many such, you know, the strengths that you have. You don't realize till the time you don't explore them. It is just like going to an ice cream parlor. Until and unless you don't taste वो flavor, आपको पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि वो मेरा favorite है. But once you taste it, you are like, मैं हमेशा यही खाऊंगा.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when I did that one program, then I did the second, and I realized that this is fun. I love it, and that's how it happened. And from there onwards, there is no looking back.
Wow. We usually do this in all of our podcasts.
Yeah.
To end this podcast, I want you to, take your time answering this question. The question is very simple.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to any person who is watching this podcast?
My advice would be that, you know, self-awareness is the key to all the locks of your life. Why do I say that? Because awareness leads to clarity. Clarity gives you certainty. Certainty gives you confidence. And with confidence, whatever you do in your life will give you the desired outcomes. Okay. So, one powerful question that I would like to give all our audience is that always ask yourself, whenever you are doing something, why am I doing this? Why am I doing what I am doing? Because that will bring some level of intent behind your action. Okay? When you are feeling something, just ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? So in a way, this is called as self-inquiry. So you are inquiring yourself, you are asking yourself, you are validating whatever you are feeling, whatever you are thinking. Now, why is this required? Why so much of work, Alok? Because this will help you to break your pattern, the negative pattern. This will help you to bring yourself in the present. जो वो sleepwalking वाला state होता है ना, when you are sleepwalking, most of us, we are sleepwalking these days. We don't know why are we doing certain things. मैं इस चीज़ के पीछे क्यों भाग रहा हूँ, मैं ये क्यों कर रहा हूँ, मैं रोज़ ये क्यों करता हूँ, ये क्यों करता हूँ, ये क्यों आदत हो चुकी है, एक आदत हो चुकी है, इसलिए हम वो कर रहे हैं. ह्यूमन बीइंग्स आर क्रीचर्स ऑफ हैबिट. We first build habits and then the habits build us. It's as simple as that. So if you are not aware of your habits, then the habits are taking you in a direction where you don't want to go. So every time when you are about to do something and you ask yourself, why am I doing this? Is it even required? That will help you to break your pattern and change your course of action. So this is called as self-inquiry, which comes from self-awareness. In any and every area of your life, whether it is your health, whether it is your career, relationship, any aspect, always be aware. Don't let autopilot take charge of your life. You should take charge of your actions, because we all, Jash, you, I, everyone who is watching this podcast, we have a gift. It's an incredible gift that we are gifted with. And that gift is called as the power of choice. Choice. Animals don't have it. Animals, they don't have the power of choice. You know why? Because animals are driven by instincts. So if there is a stimulus, they will have a reaction. आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि वो प्रोग्रामिंग ही ऐसी है. They are driven by instincts. Human beings, we are driven by consciousness. And no matter what happens in our environment, we still have the choice. Whether I want to respond or react. But when you don't access this power of your choice, then automatically you are driven by autopilots. You are driven by your instincts. So when you become self-aware, you switch the gear from instincts to consciousness.
Wow. That was deep. I'm going to rewatch this part again and again, I swear. But thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much for doing this podcast.
Thank you.
I really hope that we again do a podcast together. And next time my questions would be more of the experiences जो मैं तभी करता रहूँगा. But for now, like many questions were my current experiences, the experiences I am going through, and the wisdom that you have shared today has really helped me, and I'm sure that this podcast is going to help everyone who is watching. So thank you very much, sir, and I really hope to see you soon on our channel.
Thank you. Jash, first of all, looking at youngsters like you, talking about certain topics which are completely ignored, because today if I look at the youngsters, if I look at the millennials or maybe the Gen Z for that matter, not all but most of them, they are running behind the the shiny syndrome. They are always running behind something that is shining brighter, without knowing the purpose, without understanding why am I doing this, etc., etc. Because the world is doing, it's a psychological phenomena. Everyone is doing it. That means it's right. Even I need to do it. Otherwise, I'll be left out. But looking at youngsters like you, who have a mission, who are driven by some value and meaning, that really makes me feel happy that we are in the right direction. And looking at you, I'm sure there'll be a lot of other youngsters who will get inspired. So carry on with your mission of this podcast, and I wish you a lot of luck, right from the bottom of my heart. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
With everything that you are wanting to achieve, with all the desires and the dreams that you are wanting to fulfill for you, for your family, for all your loved ones, for your team for that matter. And I wish that you reach the heights that you always wanted to. Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
I loved the episode. Something. Ooh.
Awesome.
That's the future idea. How are you feeling?
This is the first very podcast. ये पहला podcast है हम लोग कर रहे हैं. Yes. But this is going to look fabulous. हमने वो दोनों frame check किया. It's looking very good. Really excited. वहाँ पे भी अच्छा है.